Hey everybody, welcome back to Is It Kino, your favorite movie and TV show review podcast. I'm your host, Monkey Jones, joined as always by Eggy Eggington.
Oh shit, what does Eggy say?
Do your Eggy
welcome
impression.
Everyone. Oh god. I just would have to say something for way too long.
Yo, I hate the ladies, but I'm gonna fuck all of them, baby! Eggman!
Yeah,
they call me the
known
Egg.
for fucking all the ladies. That's the Eggman.
Joined as always by Florian Himsel, Game Squid on YouTube, everyone.
Yep, that's the real me. Here we go.
Oh wow, finally you can take off that egg mask and be your real self. I'm so proud of you.
Oh yeah.
Maybe you were inspired by this show to, just embrace who you really are and just, live a life of love and belonging and no prejudice at all in this small town.
Except for all the poor people that they hate passionately until they slowly get to live with them.
Folks, today we are talking about a show called Schitt's Creek, and if you're wondering, what the fuck is that? I've never heard of that before. That is where I was not too long ago, so I just wanted to give a little bit of background and context as to what this show is and why we are watching it. But, let me take you back. Florian, do you remember a show called BoJack Horseman?
Oh yeah, great show. Boring ending, but I sure enjoyed it.
That's a show that I think was nominated for, or just straight up didn't win any Emmys. You know what an Emmy is? It's like an Oscar for TV shows. You a big Emmys fan, Florian?
Oh, I literally can't give a shit about award shows, but it didn't win. Is that a surprise?
Well,
I guess
maybe. What piqued my interest into Schitt's Creek was that BoJack and Schitt's Creek had their final season, and both of their final seasons were going head to head for Emmys. And BoJack once again won 0 Emmys, but this year Schitt's Creek swept the fucking show. All 4 main characters won the best acting accolades, and it won, best comedy show. And I'm thinking, what the fuck is this show? I've never heard of this fucking shit in my whole life. And I know that sweeping the Emmys isn't that big of a deal. The only award I ever was hoping for was Leo DiCaprio to win. And even though the Oscar that he won, I felt like he should have won it for something else. But when I go online, I'm expecting everybody to say, oh, what the fuck, why did this show win? But instead, I saw so much praise and support and people saying, yes, Schitt's Creek deserved it. Wow, this was a happy ending for this show. I'm so glad they won all the Emmys. So I'm thinking, wow, if people are actually excited that this show won and BoJack didn't win shit, then maybe this show actually... maybe it's actually pretty good. Maybe if people are excited and the critics all voted for it and shit, maybe we should check it out. So that's what we did. Florian and I both evidently binged watched all 6 seasons of Schitt's Creek, and now we are here to dissect all of it for you at home.
Wait, so that's why you watched it, because of the Emmys?
Yeah.
Is that usually how you get your recommendations?
Well, I mean, if you listened at all to any of the context I just laid out, I think you'll answer your own question pretty easily. But
I mean, I would have assumed that you would just stop listening to the Emmys if your beloved BoJack never wins.
That's exactly why I watched this, because it beat BoJack for one, and for two, people were happy for it, and I wanted to see why people were so happy that this thing won.
And you were gonna be like, oh, I gotta see this shit. This can't be better than BoJack.
Well, yeah, usually when things win awards, it's just like everybody online's like, that didn't deserve to win. That's fucking garbage. That was horse shit. But I didn't see that at all for this show. So I thought, hey, if people are so supportive of it, maybe it's like a hidden gem that I don't know about.
So you actually liked it from the start? Because I thought the first season was pretty cringe. At least the first episode. Oh my god.
Well, how about, since this is a show that I think you could relate to in a lot of ways, how about you give us the premise of the show and give us a little bit of background on what, because most people probably don't know what this is.
Yeah, that's probably true. I checked on YouTube and there's one single review and it has 4,000 views. So I guess YouTube is completely oblivious. All right, here we go. Schitt's Creek is about a rich family that loses it all, or at least most of it, and now they're stuck in this bad, terrible, poor town called Schitt's Creek that they bought on a whim, and the government didn't want it, even when they were trying to take all the other assets. So now they're stuck in Schitt's Creek.
Could you relate to being like a rich, snobbish asshole who lives in a really dingy, shitty apartment? That's why I thought you would like this show.
Hey, the dinge is really important, okay?
You're snobby. I mean, your attitude is pretty much just like David, I think.
Oh my god.
Fucking rich asshole.
Yeah, just hiring a maid would be such a waste of money. That's why I prefer to live in filth, okay? Save every bit of money, okay? That's what I do.
Yeah, you want as much money to take to heaven with you as you can.
Hey, but I don't know, man. There's still plenty of time, okay? The more money I save now, the more I'll have later. It'll be great. I'll be so rich eventually.
So Schitt's Creek, it's a fish out of water comedy. You got this family of four. You got the main characters played by Eugene Levy, who I only know from the American Pie films, but I guess he's had a rich and successful career beyond that. I guess I didn't watch many comedies from the 70s and 80s. I don't know when he was popular. But in this show, Eugene Levy teams up with his real life son, who plays his son in the show as well. And the two of them, what I like about this is that this father-son duo just teamed up. They were the showrunners that came up with the whole premise. And now, this many years, 6 years later, the show just swept the Emmys. So can you imagine? You just come up with an idea with your son, you pitch it to some... I think this was on the Pop Network. Nobody even knows what the Pop Network is. So this show is a real, in terms of its development and its eventual Emmy-winning prowess, it's a real rags to riches story, I think. Even though Eugene Levy, it's not like he came out of nowhere. He was, kind of established to begin with. But still, this show had no reason to succeed, and somehow it did. And now it's beloved by many.
Such a bizarre show. It's just like these rich people, they act like they're rich people, but now they gotta live in poor circumstances, and it's really cringe. And somehow that really worked out. And especially by the end, where they actually stop being such fools, they are actually beloved. What an interesting concept. I guess it's really bittersweet, because they're so annoying, and I guess they get humiliated, even though their humiliation is just normal life for everyone else. and then in the end, they just bounce back because they just have their inherent merit, I guess. They made it once to be rich, even if most of them were born into it, but they can do it again, apparently. Even when you lose everything, if you're rich, I guess you can come back. I guess that's a wholesome moral for everyone to enjoy. What do you think?
This show falls into a sitcom category that I'm really, really fond of as of late. Shows like The Good Place, or My Name is Earl, or any number of shows that is about the journey of dickhead asshole characters who are just full of themselves and rude, and the journey they go on to become better people. I'd throw BoJack Horseman into that too. I think while all the shows hit different types of comedy and they have different tones often, I do think that the overall idea of, hey, shitty person through all these whimsical hijinks over the course of 6 seasons becomes a good person, and that's ultimately what this is. And yeah, like you said, it is wholesome to the point of sometimes making your stomach sick because it's too wholesome. But that's the show they were going for, so you know what, it's not their fault that I'm a cynical, edgy asshole.
Too wholesome, but they're literally the worst people, and literally nothing could ever go wrong for them. Anything that goes wrong for them, they just cry about it, and then eventually it turns out fine. Wow, I guess the greasy wheel really gets the grease.
I don't think
it's wholesome. Go ahead.
Because these people have to. They're rich. They live in mansions and shit. They don't care about each other. This family is just so full of themselves on an individual level, and they're filthy rich, so they don't care. And then they lose everything they have, and now this family of four has to live together in a shitty little motel room. And they have to better themselves. Like, they can't just rely on their wealth anymore. The daughter, what's the daughter's name? I was about to say Annie, but I think that's the actress's name.
I had to look it up too. I kept forgetting.
But like Alexis, she goes back to school and gets a job and stuff, and David, the son, he like falls in love and starts a business. And the parents, you know, they pursue different careers and advantages and things that they can. And I think it's a story of people, they have nothing, and you have to watch these characters work hard for the first time in some of their lives to progress and become better and to get their situation to be better. And I think, I don't know how many spoilers we'll go into, but at the very end, I think it's very satisfying to see how all of these main characters have grown into better people.
Yeah, it's really good to see that there's a happy ending, but you know, they never really had to work hard in this show, except for the father. I guess he's got it hard, but the other ones, they just fall into luck every single time.
No, I completely disagree. It's not luck. It's always hard work. They always have to make sacrifices and changes and do things that they wouldn't have done in their past life in order to progress.
Yeah, but it doesn't necessarily seem to be necessary. Like, for example, Alexis, she goes to school, yeah, but then she still ends up making a career leeching off her famous mother. And David, he goes into business. He sucks at business, but then he just luckily meets someone who's good at business, and he works together with him, and that's really working out for him.
I don't think David. I don't think he sucks at business. I think it's a fish out of water business. I think he has these big ideas that would work like in New York or L.A., but he's bringing them these business ideas to a small town where the people don't really understand it. But his business ends up being very successful. So I would say these two different walks of life, you know, David and his coastal elite bullshit, and these flyover country Midwestern people, even though this is in Canada, they learn to appreciate things about each other, and yeah, his coastal elite business ends up being successful in Schitt's Creek. It's not, he didn't luck into it, he had to work for it.
Well, I mean, his business partner basically has to drag him to make the good decision, like every second episode, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, you're mad that he's not like a perfect businessman when he's never done this shit a day in his life?
But he's so stubborn, and apparently he's done it before, only that his parents have paid for everything, I guess.
Yeah, now he has to pay for it himself. He has to earn the money to start the business, and that's what he does.
Well, surely you can agree that there was a lot of luck involved in how he got that money, right?
I don't think so. I mean, he got hired. He got hired at the local blouse barn, and then he works with the owner to revamp it. And then some company who wants to buy it buys it, and then he gets a cut of the profit. I don't see what the issue is.
Yeah, but the way he revamped it drove them to almost bankruptcy. And then there's this saving grace where this company comes from another continent, and they have the same name, and they're buying up the blouse barn, so there's no legal issue with two companies having the same name.
Florian, not everybody makes $1 billion off of a fucking shitty game they made in 3 months, okay? Sometimes businesses struggle. Sometimes it takes you a good 10 years to make a fucking profit in a small town business. I'm sorry that we're not all selling Binding of Isaac fucking plushies and keychains, fucking card games and bullshit, shitty fucking strategy guides to games that aren't even fucking fun. I'm sorry that David didn't make Binding of Isaac 2 and that he had to make a fucking clothing store, and you're not satisfied that it wasn't $1 million business within a day. But sorry, this is how it fucking works over here, buddy. We don't have European socialism to give us all free money when our businesses fail.
But he ran it into the ground. It was working out fine, the blouse barn, until he came and ruined it all.
He improved it, and the owner approved of all of his changes, and then they sold it for more than it was worth.
But she said that she was running out of money. She was about to quit.
So she's the bad businessman, not David. He's the ideas guy. She ran her own business into the ground, and then David and Alexis sold it for far more than it was worth. Did you miss a couple fucking episodes?
Is that really what you think?
That's literally what happened. That was the plot of the show.
She does say, yeah, it's my fault. I should have never hired you.
David and Alexis sell the business. And they make a shit ton of money that wouldn't have been made without their assistance.
Well, that was true, but I mean...
You think that was luck? That was them having to actually do something.
How do you not think that's pure luck? How often do you think a clothing store gets bought up because it has a convenient name?
I mean, again, I'm not going to take a small town fucking North American continent small town business advice from the fucking European billionaire who has probably never even stepped in a clothing store. I'm going to guess you know far less about how this shit works than anybody involved in the writing process of the show. That would be my guess.
Yeah, I just pick my clothes out of Goodwill because I'm such a Scrooge.
You go to Walmart.com and you say, send me anything that's size XXL and I'll fucking wear it because I'm Florian.
That's exactly how everything works, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, enough of you arguing about whether these characters actually earned the success that we watch them pursue for 6 seasons. How about we just talk about some of the characters in general? Because it's not just about the rich family that becomes poor. It's also about the local townspeople of Schitt's Creek, and most of the drama and comedy and intrigue of the show comes from this family interacting with these locals. And I would like to start with some people might say that the sexy daughter, Alexis, the family daughter, Alexis, would be the waifu of the show. But Florian, am I wrong in saying that Stevie, the receptionist at the hotel, is the real waifu all along?
Well, I mean, she's definitely not insane. That helps. And she's pretty hot too, I guess. Yeah, I guess she'd probably be the grounded waifu, whereas the Alexa is more like the insane girl that you shouldn't marry, but can you help yourself? Probably not. Even if you got a pet store and everything, you're just gonna hire her, marry her, do all the things with her that you shouldn't do because it's not gonna end well.
The thing about Schitt's Creek is that the majority of the residents they're what you would expect. They're kind of simple-minded. They have low aspirations. They are oftentimes kind of stupid to the point of being socially annoying to everybody around them. Not necessarily bad people, just really fucking annoying to be around. And Stevie is the girl who is stuck in the small town that she's lived in her whole life and doesn't want to be there, but she doesn't really have any other prospects. So she's almost bitter and sarcastic to the point of having no other personality. She's just so sarcastic to everybody she encounters because she hates living there. She hates being there. And that's why when this family of formerly rich people, the Rose family we've been talking about, when they move into this hotel that she works at, now she has people who she can relate to in the strangest way because she's dirt poor and these people used to be filthy rich, but now they're all in the same situation where they're stuck in Schitt's Creek and they don't want to be there, and they're going to make as many sarcastic quips as possible to make their stay or to make their existence even somewhat enjoyable. So the relationship between David, the son, and Stevie, whether it was romantic or not, as it changed throughout the course of the series, I really liked that pairing of characters. I think they're great friends. And most of my enjoyment of the show did come from watching David and Stevie just completely tear into each other and everything around them.
Yeah, those two are definitely a great couple or great friends. Definitely the highlight, I guess, of whatever they're in. I mean, certainly David's probably one of the less annoying ones, and Stevie for sure.
Yeah.
Yep, could listen to Stevie forever, I guess. She's great.
Should we talk about the character that I think you relate to most other than the Rose family?
Yeah. Who could it be? Who am I?
The mayor of Schitt's Creek is a man named Roland Schitt, which, I mean, that's just a great pun in itself. His name is Roland Schitt, and that's pretty much his personality too, is that he just rolls around in shit. He's the biggest, most annoying shithead I've ever seen on television, and at times the show, I think the weakest writing in the show is with this character, because sometimes he becomes so cartoonish with his annoyance and his imbecility, if that's even a word. He's just such a dumb asshole with no self-awareness, no social awareness, that it feels like he was flanderized from episode 1, and then, I mean, eventually I think they figure out how to use his character better, but in those early seasons, it's really, really rough, whether they meant to do it or not, to watch this Roland Schitt character. Did you like him?
Well, at first I thought that he was great. He had to put up with so much shit from the Rose family. I think he was very sympathetic, and he always was there for them. He knew that they would be a good investment for him. He knew it'd be good, and if he accomplishes nothing in his life, it's good that he managed to get close to the Rose family, I guess. But unlike the Rose family, he never improves. Every time you see Roland, you know, if you don't watch Roland, he's just gonna shit in his hands and eat it. You're never gonna be safe. Give him any responsibility, he'll blow it spectacularly. So it's surprising that nobody has caught on to his insanity yet, and they keep trusting him with things, and they even go in business with him. What is going on? How is that not just waiting to fail?
Yeah, and it's not even just the Rose family who can't handle Roland at times. Even his own wife will pawn him off on the Rose family. There's one episode where Roland sets up a gaming rig in the lobby of the hotel, and he's just playing video games in the lobby all day and night. And they're like, "What the fuck, dude? Like, your wife is pregnant. Go home and be with her. We don't want you in the business right now." And then the wife shows up and she's like, "Oh yeah, no, we made a deal. I can't handle being around him right now, so I told him to go camp out and play video games at the hotel." So even his own wife needs a break from him from time to time.
Yeah, she is probably the sanest character in the show, wouldn't you think?
The wife?
Yeah. Jocelyn, I think, is her name.
No, Jocelyn goes kind of crazy in some episodes, like the one when they got on the bus to go to the concert. She kind of loses her shit. I think that Mr. Rose, Eugene Levy, is the most like intelligent and well-balanced character, most sympathetic too.
I guess he's pretty good, yeah. But out of the townsfolk, I guess she's probably pretty good.
I would say out of the townsfolk, if I had to like rank them in order from like most relatable and intelligent and like people I'd actually want to be around, I'd say Stevie is number 1. And then the dentist that Alexis dates for a million seasons, he's number 2.
That fucking Chad, really?
He's just like a nice guy. And he's full of puns and he cares about animals. He seems like a nice guy. And then third, I wouldn't give it to Mrs. Schitt. I would give it to that black woman with the bug eyes who's always she like can't put up with Moira's shit. Moira is the wife of the Rose family, and she's
she's relatable too.
Yeah, we should talk about Moira. Moira is like a...
Oh, hold on. Should we not go about the shit some more?
We will, but I feel like we've completely glossed over Moira because she's a character where you might stop watching the show immediately as soon as you hear her voice.
I think I did the first time around. Oh my god.
Yeah, she's a character who you either love or hate, and luckily I think even if you hate her, the more you watch it, the more you will appreciate the character. And that's really how I felt for the whole show, is that the more I watched it in general, the more I liked all of it. I feel like every part of the show consistently gets better as it goes along.
I mean, it does get better, but I think that's just because it starts really low, which is the utmost amount of cringe. And I think Moira, I think she probably has the lowest amount of redemption in her, because she's just such a toxic influence on everything. Like whenever she's left alone, and she will just like cry in a corner, or like buy expensive stuff that they can't afford, or ruin things in another way. It's just insane, and they all put up with her for some reason, and it's just bizarre how they learn to love each other again, even though they are who they are.
Yeah, the biggest thing about her personality, I think, is her voice. Not just the accent that she puts on, but the vocabulary she uses and her vernacular in general. How would you describe the accent that Moira is using?
I have completely no idea. I guess it's just all cobbled together from possible accents and things that she could say. Just like that one time she does that impression of whatever poor woman she's pretending to be to buy that car. It's
that was a really rough episode.
She really tries to invent herself, but she can't stop. She keeps inventing more stuff to it, and it never ends. It's just boundless, I guess.
Moira Rose, the mother of the family, is a former soap opera star, and she's extremely pretentious when it comes to things of glamour and beauty. She has a collection of dresses and wigs, and she's always wearing some crazy outfit, and she speaks with I guess the character actually genuinely speaks like that, and she's not just putting on a fucking voice, but she speaks with the most pretentious, hoity-toity, like she's a transatlantic actress from the 1940s, and that's how she would talk in a movie. But this is how she speaks in 2015.
Now that you mention it, I guess she does seem very old-timey, but I actually like the words she uses. I just wish she wasn't so incredibly mean all the time.
Well, I think that's part of the charm of the character, is that they're all sarcastic and rude assholes all the time, but then at the end of the day, they learn to love each other and become a family while still embracing their sense of humor, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I guess it ends really well in the end. The love that they have for each other seems real, even though it's really hard to believe. I guess they grew up together, hardly knowing each other, and in the end, they do know each other, and they do manage to get along somehow.
They're a family thrown into a horrible, horrible situation. Like any family, whether you're rich or not, losing all of your money and being essentially homeless, like that's a fucking horrible. Most people would probably commit suicide. And I would expect this family to be so selfish and like they can't live without money that I don't know why these people didn't commit suicide too. But the fact that they persevered and became better and learned to love each other and shit, it's all wholesome and gay and cute. And I use gay literally because many of the shows, one of the main plots of the show is about David being gay. And but we'll get to that later. You wanted to talk about more of the Townspeople, right?
Yeah, I feel like Roland Schitt is so insanely written that it must be an exaggeration by the writing, because I feel like whenever he's alone with his family or alone with anyone who isn't the main characters, he isn't as insane as he is there, because otherwise he would have probably just died somehow. So I feel like whatever Jocelyn sees in him must be there. It's just not there on screen. There must be something to him that we don't know about, and I guess that's pretty interesting.
Well, I think there is something, and it's the first, and I think I cried at this show a couple times, but the first time that they got me, and the moment that really got me into the show, and I said, okay, I'm going to watch all of this, was the season 2 finale. When God, I keep forgetting the characters' names, but I just watched the show like a couple weeks ago. What's the name of the main Rose? Eugene Levy's character. What's his first name? Johnny?
I think. Yeah.
Johnny Rose and Moira. they've been slumming it up. They've been living in this motel, and now after 2 seasons, they finally it's their anniversary, and they're finally going to treat themselves to like a fancy romantic date at like a 3-star restaurant. So not even a super fancy restaurant, just the nicest one within 20 miles. And when they show up, they run into a couple that they used to be friends with when they were rich and famous. And like, this is, a super rich couple that they used to, go yachting with and shit. And they just run into them completely by accident at this restaurant. And they decide to get a table and catch up. But then, Roland Schitt and his wife, who had asked the Roses to go out that night, and then they were rejected and said, oh no, we can't go out tonight. They show up at the same restaurant, and it's super awkward, like, oh, I thought you couldn't go out tonight, but now you're out with another couple. Isn't this interesting? And then Roland and his wife decide to pull up to the table too, and it's like, oh man, this is going to be the most awkward fucking dinner conversation ever. But then it's the exact opposite. And Mr. Rose, Johnny Rose, comes to the realization that shit, we've been down on our luck. The life has shit all over us. We're now stuck in Schitt's Creek, all this horrible stuff. And you rich motherfuckers who used to be our friends did nothing to help us. You could have gave us any amount of money to help. You could have just been there for us. You didn't even call. You did nothing. And you know who's been here for us the whole time, even though we can't fucking stand him and we hate him? You know who's always showing up to help us, letting us borrow his truck? He'll do anything we ask him to because he thinks that we're friends? This guy right here, motherfucking Roland Schitt. This guy who I can't fucking stand is the only friend I have left. The only real, genuine person who has ever been there for me is this disgusting, deplorable man. And in that moment when Johnny realizes, you know what, Roland is my friend, and he's a true friend, and I might have been rich a year ago, but guess what? All the people around me were fake as fuck. And I might have lost everything, but at least now I have a real, genuine friend, even though he's an annoying piece of shit. And I thought that was the sweetest moment of the show, and it really hit me.
Yeah, that was such a great episode. It's just like they see this rich, pretentious family, which is probably not even as bad as they were back in their day.
Right.
Oh my god, and they just see a reflection to the past, or maybe even to season 1, and they see how these kind of people would react to their current situation. And then it is beautiful when they stand up for themselves in that way. That was really a beautiful moment. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's when I really began to understand what they were doing with Roland's character, because I was only seeing him for how annoying he was, and I never really thought, oh yeah, he has driven them around 1,000,000 times. He has loaned his truck to them 1,000,000 times. I just noticed when he's being a dickhead.
Man, how did you not notice that? I noticed that immediately, that they're constantly borrowing his truck and that he's putting them up
obviously
for free.
I see it on screen, but I didn't interpret that as, wow, Roland's actually a pretty good guy.
But I mean, everyone's being an asshole, and you picking out on him for being an asshole. It's bizarre.
Dude, episode 1...
He's the most helpful one of all.
Episode 1, when he introduces himself, and then he just, like, turns on their TV and is sitting on their bed watching it while they're all waiting for him to leave. Like, it's such a shitty fucking person. Just fucking...
Well, that's exactly how they would behave normally. I
don't think you invite yourself into somebody's home and then sit there and watch TV while they all stare at you to leave.
But he set them up with that motel room. He did everything.
That doesn't give him the right to like annoy them and watch and sit on their bed while they have nowhere else to fucking sit.
Well, as we've already established, he's not a monster. He's just like really,
he's
really
just
dumb,
like,
and he's not realizing how he's annoying them.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool when John finally tells him to get the fuck out.
Get the fuck out! I would have done the same thing.
You had to pay for that one, though. He removed his doors.
All right, do you want to talk about any of the other characters? I think we've hit most of them so far.
I guess I kind of like Bob, even though he's not usually
God,
the
dude,
center of anything.
No,
yeah?
I could not stand Bob. in I think season 2 is when Johnny is renting out an office in Bob's garage, and it's just like a desk in the middle of a work garage for cars and shit. Dude,
what the hell? Again, someone giving Johnny free stuff, and you hate him. God damn it!
Because every interaction they had made me want to vomit. Bob is such an annoying piece of shit. I think I might hate Bob worse than Roland, dude. Bob is the character I could not stand. He gets better later on when he becomes the victim, like in the poker night episode when he's the victim of everybody else's stupidity. But when he's just being like a stupid asshole, it's so hard to watch.
Like, in what way is he an asshole? Isn't the first time we see him is when they break into his home by accident and they fornicate on his bed and he lets them finish? How is this guy an asshole, man? But why do you hate these poor people so much?
He's not an asshole for that, but when he gives away the workspace to a guy who's running scam phone calls to steal people's money, like, he's so dumb. He thought that was a real business.
Well, he was dumb, but not an asshole, okay?
Well, when he takes away Johnny's workspace to give it to a scammer, that's kind of a dumb asshole move.
Hey, he takes away the workspace he's giving out for free. Come on.
Yeah, okay.
And besides, there must be something in the water, okay? All the people in Schitt's Creek, they're literally so dumb. Because we like, when Moira brings to town this Ponzi scheme, and they're already like, yeah, we all bought it.
We're already part of it.
Have it.
Yeah.
God, they're so stupid. This is exactly why it never worked out for them until now. They didn't have two brain cells to rub together.
Would you like to talk about David and his various love interests throughout the show? What do you think of? I think there's only like 3 we need to focus on, really. Well, I guess there's.
I can only think of. Oh, right. I guess there's Stevie. I guess that makes 3. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. What do you think of the guy that David ends up with? Do you think that's like a good pairing, or did you think the character was just thrown in out of nowhere?
Oh my god, dude. I have no idea what to think of this, because it's like David is so unlikable most of the time, even though sometimes he can be sincere and nice. But then this guy is just heads over heels for him, and he just worships him, even though he is reasonable and competent. And I don't know why he puts up with David, but also that they have physical attraction, which I don't get, because David always looks like he's disgusted, like, all of the time. and I don't even know what the other guy's name was, but he looks basically
Patrick?
like Patrick. Yeah, that's it. He looks basically like a 10-year-old boy that was just scaled up to be the size of a full-grown man. I don't know what it is with them. I guess this is like the least relatable relationship ever for me. I guess. Yeah. I guess that's interesting. They couldn't all get together with that one guy who's in an open relationship with everyone.
Yeah. When Stevie and David are dating the same guy at the same time by accident, that was pretty funny. But
is he called Jack?
I don't remember. But I guess, what did you think of the choice for homophobia is never really in the show? You would think a show that takes place in a small town and the main character is a gay guy, or I guess he's metrosexual or whatever you want to call him. He's not bi. He had some other word for it. But he never faces...
Pan. It's Pan.
Yeah. He never faces homophobia from any of the residents of Schitt's Creek. Really, the only time that sexuality is part of the plot is that Patrick, the first time he had feelings for another man was with David, so it's more of a romantic plot rather than a prejudice plot. What did you think of them not just doing the easy thing and having a bunch of plots where people are homophobic?
That would have been easy, you think?
Well, yeah, because it's a small town. Like, that's what you would expect from these people, is that they wouldn't understand it. But then nobody ever has a problem at all with it. And I thought that was, realistic or not, I thought that was kind of sweet.
You do think so? I saw an interview where they brought up that I mean, I guess the father character Johnny, he brought up why he wanted the show to be that way. He thought it was just a good feel thing where everyone is they're all stuck in this horrible place, but there's like not a single bit of prejudice, and he thought that was a good message to send. And apparently, the son really was into portraying this gay relationship, and he really wanted that very much too. So I guess it's interesting that that's what they went with, but I don't know. I guess I find it strange because these are like the dumbest people of all, and then they're like morally perfect almost. Nobody makes fun of the guy for being called shit. Nobody makes fun of the gay guy. Nobody makes fun of the outrageous bimbo, almost prostitute daughter Alexa. It's bizarre. Everyone's just really nice all the time. It's almost like there's no other setting. It's almost like they're not fully written characters if they don't have like a single bad thought in them. Well, but I guess that's just me.
I wouldn't say that they're morally perfect. They're oftentimes annoying fucking assholes, as we've discussed, but they're just not prejudiced. And I think that opens up a whole new world of creativity for the show. They had 6 seasons to fill up, and they didn't waste any of those plots on a fucking paint-by-numbers homophobia plot where David uses his gay charms to convince the racist or the homophobic person, no, actually, we should be friends. Being gay is not so bad. And then, like, they fucking twist their dicks together or some shit. They didn't have to waste their time on that. Every single episode had to come up with a plot that wasn't about that, and they had to flex their creativity muscles, and I think they succeeded, and I think the show is better for it.
But is it better if it's just straight up not realistic? If
how do you know? How do you know it's not realistic though? How do you know there's not small towns out there where people in the modern day, everybody in the town is like, oh yeah, it's fine that you're gay. I'm not even gonna address it. I don't give a shit.
The wokest small town in the world. Wow. I don't know.
To be fair, the show does take place in Canada, so it's very possible up there. I don't know.
Wait, it does?
Yeah.
I thought it was in America. Holy shit.
No, everybody in the show is Canadian.
Wow. Wait, are the actors are Canadian too?
Yeah.
Well, I guess that makes sense now. Holy shit. Well, I guess it's less unrealistic then.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd say Canada might be a little less prejudiced in general than most of the United States, but, you know. What are you going to do?
I mean, they don't paint a nice picture of them by having Schitt's Creek be there, but yeah, I guess. I guess it makes sense that they all have to be trying to be nice, at least, in as many ways as possible.
I mean, they're small town, simple-minded, decent people who they live with these people, so why not treat each other with kindness? And if your mayor is an annoying asshole, well, fuck it, just live with it and maybe laugh behind his back, like I assume most of them do.
Yeah, how does that even happen? How does he get voted for every year?
It was like a monarchy because he was the shit, and his son Mutt Shit was supposed to be the next in line, but he didn't want to follow in his family's footsteps. And then they had a new son a few seasons in, so I guess one day he'll be the mayor.
Wait, do we ever see Mutt?
Mutt is the guy with the beard who dates Alexis.
Oh, I completely forgot he's the mayor's son. Wow.
Yeah, well, after season 3, he doesn't really show up very much, so...
Oh, yeah, that makes sense, I guess. He slipped to the back of the mind.
He's like a main character for 2 seasons, and then they gave up on him, and he straight up just left the show.
Oh, did he? Did the actor leave the show? Is that what happened?
Or they just wrote him out, because like season 3, 4... 5 and 6, he's probably only in 2 or 3 episodes.
Well, I guess there's not much you can do with him. I guess he's too...
Yeah, he kind of
straight, and also
he basically lacked a personality, and I think that was on purpose because it was to show how shallow Alexis was at the beginning, where she's dating this great dentist guy, and he might be a little dweeby, but he's handsome and he's kind and he loves puns and all this shit. But then she meets one handsome guy with a big chin and a big bushy beard, and she immediately leaves the dentist for him, even though he has no personality whatsoever. So I think it's his character was to show Alexis's growth, because then at the end of the show, Alexis has a chance to get back together with Mutt, but she decides, no, I want to go be with the dentist. Or not dentist. Did I say dentist the whole time? I meant veterinarian.
I think he said vet sometimes.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, I guess that was a hard choice for her. What was it?
At that point, it wasn't that hard. I think she had grown enough as a character to not be shallow and only attracted to a beard. Because she did break up with him because he shaved his beard.
But he grew it back so fast. Ah, what a waste of time. Shouldn't have broken up, damn.
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel like he's kind of a cool character. But I guess
He lives in a barn. That's pretty cool.
I know, right? He's real lumberjack guy, I guess. He fits perfectly into Canada, I guess.
And he did ask Alexis to, like, while he was out of town, hey, can you water my plants and make sure they don't die? And then she doesn't do it, and he's not even mad. Like, he still invites her over, and she watches him clean up all of his dead plants. Like, if that was me, I'd be fucking pissed. So it's just another sign that these people are overly nice.
Yeah, too nice. I guess that makes perfect sense if they're in Canada. Man, nobody gives these roses what's for, man. Someone needs to step up. It's good that Roland did it in the first episode with the Doors, but after that, I guess nobody holds them accountable for how shit they are usually.
Well, it's because this family of roses, they learn how to be better people by living with these kind poor people. Like, these people of Schitt's Creek rubbed off on the roses in a lot of ways.
Wait, do they have Amish in Canada? Is that real?
I would say so.
Wow, who would have guessed? Are they even nicer there? I mean, I guess not according to this show.
Don't they have, like, Amish types of people in most countries? Just people who want to live off the grid and don't use technology and shit?
I don't think so. I thought they were specifically American.
Oh, maybe.
I mean, at least with the black dresses and stuff and the beards.
It might not be the same exact culture, but there's got to be groups of people all over the place who, live off the land, right?
I don't think I've ever heard of anything like that outside of America.
I mean, there are tribes in the Amazon right now who have never even met another human being.
But it's not
they don't
by
even know
choice
white
then,
people
is it?
exist.
The Amish do it by choice.
I mean, at this point in 2020, anybody living in fucking mud huts is doing it by choice. I mean, you can just go get
tribes.
Just go to Best Buy and steal a fucking laptop, dude. You don't gotta live like this. You can get on the internet for free. Go to the fucking local library and get on the fucking internet, dude. You don't have to live like a fucking Amish.
I don't think you realize how big this world is, dude. There's entire forests where there's no one in it except for this one indigenous village, I guess. And if they ever make contact, they'll just get like all of the modern diseases and they'll immediately die.
Well, shit, I guess evolution really does survival of the fittest, huh?
Well, I guess they must be pretty fit in there.
Not if they're getting killed from first contact. I wouldn't say they're that fit.
Oh, well, I mean, I guess we're the ones who let them be.
Do you have any other thoughts on Schitt's Creek? Do you think it's kino, and would you recommend it to anybody listening at home?
Well, I guess it's cringe, but I can't look away.
Well, is it cringe in a good or a bad way? Because a lot of the comedy does rely on cringe-worthy moments, and you're supposed to cringe, like, if you're watching, like, The Office, for example, and these character interactions are cringy on purpose. Are you saying it's cringe in a bad way or a good way?
Well, I couldn't stand The Office either, but I think at first it starts out being in a bad way, but then it gets better, I guess, each season. I mean, like, the less of their original personality they retain, the better, I guess. And they're just evolving, and I guess it's good that they do. I mean, there's competent writing, but then in the first season they just they just let these characters just say whatever they want for far too long without there being anything interesting happening. Oh well. Well, what did you think?
You might have thought that season 1 was a little weak, but I was extremely invested in the budding romance between Stevie and David, so I was all over season 1 for that. And then even when they decided to only be friends, I think I liked that even more. So I was on board with this show pretty much from the beginning, and it constantly surprised me and constantly kept improving upon itself and building on the things it had done previously with the characters. And I think it was a great show. I'm not saying it's better than BoJack by any means. I would have loved to see BoJack win some Emmys. But I'm also pretty satisfied with this show taking that sweep. I think the 4 main actors all deserved some recognition, and I'm glad that they got it.
Did you ever go back and try to rewatch episode 1?
Well, I binged them all within like a month, so it's basically fresh in my head.
Is it though? Because I mean, it'll just get overwritten with the new character development. I hope. I mean, can you remember what they say when they get evicted?
I mean, I specifically remember enjoying watching season 1, so I don't know how. Well,
specifically, I guess specifically episode 1 is the worst for me. I guess. Well. God, when they get evicted and then David cries, "Oh no, how could you do this? How could people like you exist that exist merely to ruin people's lives?" God, what a cunt, holy shit.
It's funny.
They're all like that, though.
Florian, what are you going to say when the fucking Australian government that you live under comes in and decides to seize all of your assets and take all of your money, and you're not allowed to make Binding of Isaac 2? They just say, "Florian, you now have nothing, get fucked." Are you going to be like David, or are you going to say, "Oh, that's fine, I'm a huge cuck, take my money, I've got no problem with it, I'm not going to complain or say anything, I guess I'll just fucking sit here and take my lashes like a good little Florian"?
Well, I mean, there's going to be a social safety net, I guess, and I already live pretty simple, so it wouldn't really make a difference. I guess all my my employees are going to be fired. Oh well, sucks for them, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, should be fine. I guess it's too bad. These people, they give us rich folk a bad name. It's a shame, okay?
So would you say at the end of the day, all things considered, is this like a good show? Is it worth rewatching for you? Do you think you'll watch it again in a few years? Would you give it like a 7 out of 10?
I don't think I'd watch it again, but I think it was a really good show. I think the cringe is too big, and I guess the most of the joy was coming from seeing the unique scenarios they're in. But now if I know it all, I don't think it'll be worth rewatching it.
Yeah.
But I have to say the finales of each season were particularly interesting usually.
Yeah, I like the Christmas one especially.
Pretty good. Which one was that one?
It starts off with a flashback to their mansion back when they were rich, and you can really see how extravagant and unnecessary their lifestyle was. And even back then, Johnny Rose, man of the family, father of the, he wants the whole family to get together before the end of Christmas, and it's just not going to happen. Like, the kids already left to go out yachting and shit, and Moira already took her, she's like addicted to medication, so she already took her meds to pass out. And now we see that flashback, and poor Johnny Rose just wants to be with his family on Christmas, and it's not going to happen because they're too rich and affluent to actually get together and care about each other. And then we get your standard Christmas episode where Johnny wants the family together for Christmas in the modern day, and nobody is going for it, just like in the past, and it's not going to happen. And then at the end of the day, the family comes together and they team up with all the townsfolk and they put on a big old Christmas party for Johnny. And I thought that was really sweet too, because it took poverty for him to finally have a real Christmas with his family.
Yeah, that was a really good episode, yeah. It was nice when they finally had their one first good Christmas, even though, of course, I I despise Christmas, and
Yeah.
I understand that they would just go on and do their own thing on Christmas Day, but I guess it's the spirit that counts.
And it's not
I
even
guess
about
we
it's
get
not
to
even
see
about
it.
like the kids and Moira. It's not even like they give a shit about, giving each other a good Christmas. It's specifically, hey, our dad, Mr. Johnny Rose, he wants this. He cares about this. He's the wholesome one in the family who wants to keep the family together. Everybody else is pretty much still an independent asshole all the time. But Johnny really wants this and he's passionate about it. So yeah, let's do this for him. He's earned it. He's keeping us strong through this tough time. And I think the family learns, hey, maybe this isn't so bad after all.
Yeah, it's a pretty good sentiment.
Hey, it's about time we reviewed something that is genuinely wholesome after watching all this edgy shit all the time.
I don't know. I think we should watch more terrible things.
Well, now that we've watched this, we're going to move on to terrible shit all the time. It's just we needed one palate cleanser, I think.
So, did you end up seeing The Good Place?
Yeah, I've watched all of The
it?
Good Place, yeah.
Well, we should kino that sometime.
Have you
or
seen
do you
it?
think it's too late? Oh, yeah, I've seen it all.
Oh, yeah, I'll kino The Good Place. I love that show.
Sweet. I wonder if I should rewatch some of it.
Maybe. We probably shouldn't do it right after this one because that's too many wholesome liberal girls in their 20s types of shows in a row, and people are going to get sick of it.
Uh-oh.
We're probably already, I mean, people who are not going to listen all the way through the podcast, they're probably going to see that we've reviewed this at all and be like, oh, these fucking lib cucks, these gay lovers, man, this show fucking sucks. It's got too many gay people in it, man. What the fuck?
Yeah, you think you still got lots of those people in the audience?
It's not just my audience, just people in general. Like, I guarantee you there are people who hate this show just because it's got a liberal bias.
Now, are you saying they're not nearly as cool as the people that live in Schitt's Creek, where they would just put up with all the gayness that's happening?
I think...
Damn, these people out there, they're worse than shit, am I right?
I think
Conservatives.
This show is one that, much like the Rose family, us as audience members should learn from the people of Schitt's Creek. We should all try to be more like Roland Schitt. I think the world would be a better place if everybody was like him.
Yeah, what a beautiful thing. Well, let us know in the comments if you like the show, everyone.
Yeah, and evidently, if Florian is right, this is the second ever review of this show on YouTube. That can't be right. You only found one review of this show, and it had 4,000 views.
I found another one that had 100 views, okay?
There's no fucking way. This show has to have, like, views in the millions. It just won 100 Emmys.
Did I Google it wrong? Let's go on YouTube. Let's see the reviews.
Because if this ends up being the biggest review of the show, I might shit my pants. I might shit my creek, if you know what I'm saying.
Did I spell it wrong? I guess it has a C in it.
Oh my god. There's no way other people haven't talked about this. It's like a big hit.
All right, I'm searching for Schitt's Creek review. There's the 4K one. And I guess there's one... No? Yeah, okay, there's one with 400. Okay, wow. Really big time.
That's crazy. That's really weird. I don't know.
And there's one that's top 5 reasons to watch Schitt's Creek with 300 views. Yeah.
Maybe we'll set the record, or maybe it's a sign of the times and this video will get no views at all. But that's fine.
I mean, there's one by Looper, but I mean, that's not even anything. Fuck Looper. And then the other stuff is just like celebrity interviews from the show.
Well, Florian, that's about all I had. Did you have any final thoughts, or should we move on to some plugs?
Uh-oh. Putting you on the spot with the final thoughts. Well, just a good show, I guess. Hope everyone liked it.
Okay, well, hey, Florian, I know you just got done with a real big adventure on your Game Squid on YouTube, everyone, YouTube channel. You want to talk about the process of finishing up a week worth of animations?
Yeah, everyone check out the week of animation on Game Squid. We finally did it, and the last episode is Simian Jimmy versus Donald Trump. You want to know what kind of comments we're getting on that one?
Oh, sure. Yeah, probably just people saying, I wish Monkey still made survival guides. This
Yeah,
is
exactly.
bullshit.
Yeah, that's it. I finally got you to make another survival guide. Maybe next animation will be anime reviews by Simian Jimmy.
Hey, man, if your animator wants to make a whole season of survival guides, man, I'll give him $20 and I'll do all the voice work, and then I'll put the videos on my channel. Okay, if people want survival guides, they'll be animated. We'll do them for you, animated. As long as I don't have to film anything, I'll do it.
Well, I don't know. That might be expensive.
For you, I'm not paying shit. I'll pay $20 and that's it.
Well, then it'll be for me, I guess.
No, we can put them up on my channel. That's fine. So yeah, everybody go check out Simian Jimmy versus Trump. What a video! What a day!
So how did you feel about the things you said in that video? You specifically gave me license to write all your lines. You refused to write many of them yourself. So how did you feel about the result?
Well, I'm what people might consider to be a professional in the industry, where I show up and I read the lines that I'm given and then I go home. That's kind of how voice acting tends to work. So I don't really give a shit what the line said. I'm more embarrassed by what you made Biggs say. His lines made me cringe.
Yeah, I insisted that he would make only the cringest puns.
Did you write those or did he write those?
I wrote the second one. The first one he wrote.
Oh my god, that's why the first one was so horrible.
Well, it had to be horrible. It has to hurt.
Like, chimp off the old block was funny, but the other one was painful.
Well, I couldn't come up with a good pun for that one, so I guess it's partially my fault.
Good.
I guess it should have been
I blame you.
It should have been a more punny situation, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. Well, is that it then? We get to log off for another week of Kino? What are we going to Kino next week when the world has changed forever after the American election results come out?
Well, did you have time to watch any Attack on Titan yet?
No.
Oh.
I did watch the new show on Netflix, Queen's Gambit, starring A. LMAO waifu, the hot chick with her eyes on the opposite sides of her head. I thought that show was really, really good, but I don't know if I'll make you watch it.
Well, I could watch it if you think we should review it.
Well, it's like a serious live action drama, and that seems like the opposite of what you would want to watch.
Well, I watch dramas. What are you on about?
You only like fucking cartoons, dude.
Hey, cartoons can have drama in them. Jeez. I watch BoJack.
Okay, that's fair. If you want to watch The Queen's Gambit, I would love to talk about it, but if you get bored at any point, don't force yourself to finish it, because it's a show about a girl who's addicted to pills who plays chess, and they do that for about 10 hours.
Well, I like chess, but I don't like drugs, I guess. But
if you like chess, dude, if you like genuinely like chess, you're gonna love this show. This show is like chess porn.
I mean, I'm not really good at chess. I don't know if I'll understand any of it, but I guess it'll be interesting to see. Maybe I'll learn about chess finally. Maybe I'll finally be good.
Maybe. I mean, I feel like I learned a lot about chess I don't even play it that often, and I'm definitely not good.
Well, I guess I'll try it. I guess I don't have anything to binge right now anyway, so that's cool.
It features a hot waifu and lots of chess, and I was really into it. I watched literally the whole show in one day. That's how pathetic I am.
I do that all the time. We should binge more stuff together.
Yeah. And it would also be nice if we did more movies on the show, so I don't have to watch 10 hours of material just to record an hour podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I kept recommending movies. You never went for them.
That's because they all look like fucking trash.
Ah.
Anyway,
and we should watch that one movie where Harrison Ford is like in the wilderness with a CGI dog.
Oh, Call of the Wild?
Yeah.
No.
No?
It's like it's completely irrelevant. Like, why would we review some shit like a dog shit movie that came out last year? Who cares at this point, man? Nobody gives a fuck.
Didn't it come out this year?
Did it? I don't think it
could.
No movies came out this year. Sonic the Hedgehog came out this year, and then they stopped making movies.
Is it Call of the Wilderness?
Call of the Wild.
No, it's 2020. It probably came out without movie theaters. It probably just came on the internet.
Oh, shit. I thought it was like a Christmas of last year movie, but I guess not. I guess that would have been Cats.
I guess it was February. Wow.
Ah,
What
well,
a shame.
fuck. Once again,
Have I
Monkey is
missed
wrong.
it?
Okay.
I guess we'll look for movies. Everyone subscribe for more. Bye.
Bye, everybody.